Hello and welcome back to Talking Wanderers. Today with me is Mark Isles, who made the mammoth journey to Norwich on Saturday, certainly a mammoth journey back. We'll speak about that one, and also we'll look ahead to this weekend's hugely important home match against Wigan Athletic. Well, Mark, just when we thought it was all okay, Bolton go and lose a game, and suddenly they're back in the bottom three again. It's not going to be easy, is it?
Story of the season, really, isn't it? It's just when you think things are going swimmingly, but no, I think it's going to be like that from here on in. To be honest, Neil, I think
we keep falling for it, don't we? A win and we're happy, a defeat and we're worried. We should be longer in the tooth, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think we've got to look at the big picture. What it does is definitely ramps up the pressure on this weekend and the Wigan game. But there's no doubting that you can be disappointed with the performance through 90 minutes, really.
On Saturday.
On Saturday.
Last Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah. Things were they never going well like they have done against Liverpool and Arsenal? Were they never going well, or did things turn sour at a certain stage? What was it? I know. Owen Coyle talked about soft goals. Sam Ricketts said don't blame the system. Fans have said the opposite. What was it?
It's a whole mixture of things. I mean, if you look at it objectively, Bolton weren't playing at any point during the game well. First half they were lucky to be on level terms still. So when Owen Coyle eventually looked at the fact that they had two fullbacks playing at centre half and said, right, well, we'll play 4-4-2 and bring Kevin Davies on, you can understand his thinking there, and it was a bit of a no-brainer really. But what it did is highlight the fact that they looked shaky at 4-4-2, and I think it destabilised things a little bit in the midfield, bringing Fabrice Muamba out of that equation, and obviously he put the skipper up front. You can understand, and if in that 10 minutes where it looked like it was working, that Davis had cropped up with a goal or we'd have got something off a flick on or something, then you'd have been saying what a tactical masterstroke. But unfortunately what it did is after that Norwich composed themselves, got a grip in midfield, and that's when you saw the Bolton of earlier in this season that couldn't quite play 4-4-2. They just didn't look solid enough. And sure enough, 2 goals came from it.
I mean, hindsight is everything in football, isn't it? Norwich had two full backs playing at centre half. They had a real sort of scratch defence. I must admit, if I was in that situation, I'd be very tempted to go for the jugular myself. Now they did. It didn't come off. Other people would say one up front is where Bolton are getting all their success from this season. How do you see that decision last week?
Well, I, exactly like you, really. It seemed like the obvious thing to do at the time, and it's with hindsight that you've seen. There was this sort of maybe 10-minute spell after Davis had come on that he was winning everything, the knockdowns, the balls were being sort of flashed across the penalty area. If one of those had gone in, it would have been a totally different game. It was just that first goal went to Norwich, and from there was nowhere else to go. I mean, he brought on Tunchai for Eagles, and Sordell came on, and it was all a bit of a mismatch after that, and there was no way back into the game. What's important now is how does he look at Wigan? Does he say, well, we're the home side, we attack, we play 4-4-2 and go at them? Or does he look at the fact that 4-5-1 has just steadied the ship over?
But they played quite well attacking-wise with 4-5-1, haven't they?
They have.
With Davis bombing through and Rio Coker going through.
That's exactly it, because Rio Coker and Mark Davis weren't playing well at the weekend. They weren't playing well against Norwich before the system switch. So to have expected them then to grab the game, it would have been very difficult. When Mark Davis plays well, Bolton play well, and he's been in a great rich vein of form. But unfortunately, it was one of those days where he just wasn't quite getting to grips with the game, and that was a large part of it for me. Yeah.
Now, looking ahead to Wigan, Owen Coyle had a few angry things to say. Probably angry is not the right word, but he wasn't very impressed with the defending for the goals, and it's been a pretty thinly veiled warning that it won't stand for more defending like that. Now that's coincided with 3 defenders now becoming available, Ream, Riley and Steinson, so he's got plenty of options to think about. What do you think he's going to come out at the end of it in terms of who the back four is going to be?
I think it's going to be difficult to tell Tim Ream, you've just stepped off the plane, you've had a week of training behind you, you're going to go in at centre half. I think he's more than capable eventually, but I think at the minute Wheater and Knight are the first 2, regardless of what happened on Saturday. At fullback, it's a different matter because Tyrone Mears did a lot of good things, I thought, on Saturday. He made some good challenges, a great clearance off the line, although it turned out it was offside. Whether or not he thinks to bring Steinson back in because he's been playing so well, Greta. Yeah. The injury came along at just the wrong time. Whether or not indeed he's fit enough because it was a hamstring, they're difficult things to manage at the best of times. The right back slot is the one that's in question for me going into Wigan.
Yeah, he's got quite a few. Got Boyata as well to choose from. Riley, Steinson.
And I wouldn't say
Mears.
Boyata's a full-back option anymore. I mean,
No,
whilst it
fair
was
enough.
an emergency, yes, but he's
So
got
he's down to his last three right
He's
backs
down to
then.
his last three, exactly. Yeah, but I'd expect if Steinson's fit, he's the first choice right back still.
Yeah, it's a massive game, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of pressure on the result. If Bolton were to lose that, they are really in the thick of it. If they win it, they could find themselves as high as they have done since September. So it really is getting tight. It's 5 teams that have been isolated at the minute, and nobody wants to get left behind.
Yeah. Well, hindsight's dangerous, and foresight's dangerous as well. Wigan, Bolton they beat them this season, didn't they, away? And I don't know. It seems to have a good record in my recollection. I'm not quite sure. But,
I seem to remember quite a few. I mean, I can remember Mike Pollock being a particularly difficult obstacle down the years whenever he's got a game. But Ali Al-Habsi seems well set now, and you think would it just be like Ali Al-Habsi to come back and torment Bolton when he can?
Well, let's solve that. One fullback who won't be playing this weekend or for the rest of the season is Ricardo Gardner, who we spoke about, the second longest serving player behind Jussie, just about. You'd have thought that would be the end of his career, but apparently not for certain.
Yeah, it's nothing certain, is it? He's taken the option to have a minor operation to sort his knee out. Hopefully that gets him back playing football regularly. Yeah. Whether it's in Bolton's shirt remains to be seen.
Yeah. And loan window on Wednesday, it opens on Wednesday, so Football League clubs can take loan players. Do you foresee any Bolton players going out?
I think there will be. I think Owen Cole's made no secret of the fact that Sean Davis needs games, and it'd be interesting to see how he's come back from very long-term injury. And there's one or two on the periphery, I think, that haven't had games recently that he might well listen to offers for, certainly Championship clubs. And then there's a couple of youngsters, again, that could use games. I think it might be interesting the next 7 days or so.
Well, thanks again to Mark for that insight, and thank you for joining us at Talking Wanderers. Please join us again next week when we'll pick through the pieces of Saturday's game against Wigan.